All right.
we got the countdown on my end.
2, 1. Just
works for me.
We've been live.
The countdown after the countdown for the countdown. It's in traditional
Whatever.
crypto style. Announcement for announcement for an announcement.
That's true. You make a valid point.
So, what is going on, everybody? Thank you for coming out to the live stream tonight. Tonight is a very, very special episode. Obviously, we haven't done one of these in a while. Crypto Bobby in the house. This is the first.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Pretty good. So, what is this? This is like the East Coast takeover right now. Isn't that what we're doing? I mean, is it?
We need like gang signs and stuff.
Where's everybody from? New York, right? New York. Bobby,
New York.
Danny.
Charlotte, just North Carolina.
Close enough.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It's East Coast.
You're on our time zone, so that's really all that matters.
I'm below the magical Mason-Dixon line, so I kind of on a different planet, but it's fine.
I love it. So, what has everyone been up to this week?
Well, I was just enjoying the weekend. I don't know about you guys. Everything was finally up for a chance. You know, I'm actually getting to the point where I'm afraid to go to sleep at night. Every time I wake up, it's just like more losses. It's like it always seems to happen when I sleep. I don't know why. So,
yeah, I was shocked this weekend that we actually saw a little bit of a positive move at the end of yesterday. So when I woke up today, I was a lot happier than I was when I went to bed on Friday. So that was good. And I didn't do anything crazy. I did a lot of yard work this weekend. I know that's not crypto related whatsoever. But I'm gonna tokenize yard work here in a fucking minute and get some people doing my damn yard because this is crazy. I need to stop.
Lawn coin?
Yeah.
Let's start an ICO.
Lawn coin, ICO, $1 billion hard cap.
I love it.
Go.
I'm in. All in. Why not?
Conservative $1 billion.
All right, guys, I have the first question on my end from Ed Weezy. They say, what do you think about NEO starting out centralized and moving into decentralization? Based on the knowledge you guys have, is this a smarter way of going about it?
I'll let you lead that one off. You're more of you like NEO a lot more than I do.
The aficionado over here?
Yeah, you're the aficionado of NEO and ontology, so we'll let you go.
All right. Well, okay. In my opinion, I have stood up for the fact that NEO started out pretty damn centralized. A lot of people gave it a lot of backlash. For example, you know, even what happened recently with the Bancor, I don't know if you guys saw that. I actually had an opportunity to interview Bancor, and it's a double-edged sword because here's the thing. If, like, for example, take the Bancor incident. If they had gone completely 100% decentralized and they didn't have these, and Crypto Bobby, I know you work for AirSwap, so I'm very pumped for you to chime in on this. But so, you know, they have a lot of backdoor kind of entrances in case, you know, where they can freeze funds and do all these things that would essentially make it not really decentralized. However, here's the thing. So people that say code is king, right? So in that hack, hypothetically, would it have been better to just let that guy make off with the full $35 million or whatever it was? Or is it better that they had that kind of kill switch to be able to, you know, cut it off? Because on the flip side, what if that was your money? Like if that was your fund, then all of a sudden you'd be like, well, can't Bancor do something about it, right? So I think it's a very troubling area. And I think what NEO was trying to do is they had seen some of the issues, some of the hiccups that Ethereum was having. And I think they were trying to tackle it before Pandora's box kind of got opened. You know, like I say, it's a lot easier to change the engine in a car when it's not running than when it is. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's kind of the approach. So that's my take on it.
I would say, I mean, from like the centralization to decentralization point, I mean, there's not many things that are fully decentralized right now. Like Bitcoin is really like #1 in terms of actual decentralization. Like a lot of the other platforms that are right now trying to compete either with Bitcoin or with Ethereum, like they're sacrificing for scalability with centralization. And NEO is just one of them. But you look at EOS, you look at a lot of these other ones with delegated proof of stake, whatever it might be. They're sacrificing the actual like centralization component of it and then saying, hey, you know, maybe over time this is going to get more decentralized. Nobody knows if that's actually going to happen, but I think that's happening on the roadmap with a lot of these projects is like you can't start off fully decentralized because you can't really bootstrap that way. But the hope is that it'll get there, although it's uncertain whether or not that'll actually happen for NEO or for a lot of these projects because there's kind of that race to actually get there in time before either the competition beats them out or they just run out of damn time.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's almost like it's like a magical world of decentralization that we want to live in, but realistically, we're not ready for it, in my personal opinion, right now. So I think that we have to kind of work together and figure out that kind of gray area And, you know, we'll see what works. We'll see what doesn't work. But for the most part, like you said, Bobby, I don't think that there's going to be 100% really decentralized, you know, anything really, you know, unless it's what, Bitcoin. But I mean, even that's got, you know, a lot of people controlling certain hash rates and stuff. So it's very, very difficult. You know, we do try our best. So
I think until
Yeah, sorry, I got a
gets
little-
more than that, we're not gonna see a truly decentralized nature. There's just not enough in the pool for enough projects to be actually decentralized. Like you're talking about having Bitcoin controlled by the hash rate and like 51 or however many. What percent of the mining does that huge mining bank in, like, was it Korea or China? There's a huge mining company that controls a big chunk of the Bitcoin mining.
Oh, Bitmain.
Yeah,
Bitmain?
I think it is Bitmain. What's the percentage? Do you know, Bobby?
Well, they personally control like 43, but then they're also affiliated with the third largest. So by connections, it's like 52 or 53% or something.
Yeah.
So technically, you know, I mean, I don't know why they would do a 51% attack. It would be unbelievably costly and pointless. But in theory, yeah, that does exist.
Yeah. I think we got to go. We got to get a little farther down the rabbit hole before everything is truly decentralized. You got to have the checks in place before we can work all the kinks out, for lack of a better term.
Absolutely. So as far as some of the things that have been going on lately, we have a lot of topics. One of the things that a lot of people were discussing was, what do you guys think about these new exchange models, like the reverse fee, like Fcoin, where you get paid, but then in turn everybody's just basically Sybil attacking the network? What do you got? What is your take on this?
I think it's pretty scammy, and I think it's kind of short-lived. Like, I've talked to a lot of people about this, and like I've talked to a couple different like people that are. It seems like it's been like a pretty big topic amongst like crypto VC guys and hedge fund guys, because they've been talking about this because the valuations of those tokens have just absolutely exploded. But I think it's like really short-sighted, and in a lot of cases just encourages wash trading. So I mean, it's pretty insane to see like how quick, like I think CET, the one token for, I don't remember what exchange it was, but the CET token went from like 1 cent to 5 cents to 15 cents. Like, it just absolutely went nuts. And there's like a bunch of other ones. Fcoin obviously is kind of the big one right now. But I think the models are a little sketchy, a little scary. But at the same point in time, I guess if you can make money from them, why not?
Yeah, and they keep introducing all these different features too, where like now they're getting mined slowly over time, and it's just, they're just really going on. I mean, how complicated do we need to make an exchange? You know, I mean, I think, you know, for example, if you kind of take the Binance model, you know, they had a small ICO, they had a burn. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it feels like a lot of the incentivizations you can really learn from what CZ sort of did with that centralized model. So, I mean, it worked. Kind of can't argue that. So, oh, what is everybody's thoughts on Hashgraph? Do you guys have any opinions on that? Do you think it's the killer? Is it all, or is it just? What do you guys think?
I'm not as educated on Hashgraph to have a really intelligent conversation on it. That's probably like, I'm gonna get shunned in the comments now.
The only thing I know, as far as, if I remember correctly, I was planning on doing a video on it and I never really got around to it. But I guess it's not auditable, which I guess is a huge problem based on the technology. I don't know enough about it, but I guess it's not auditable, and it's also pretty centralized at the time. And it's not open source. They're not like allowing people to see anything until it's 100% ready to go. Which, I mean, I guess I can understand the thought process behind that, but in the same light, we are in a time in which being open and honest and being open source is kind of the whole theory behind crypto. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know enough, but from that, I just think that's kind of like not the best way to go about things. But
I spoke to somebody on my channel a while ago, and I met somebody who was like the former CMO of Hashgraph. And I think like the way they're approaching it, they're really sharp dudes. And I've heard from the people that looked at it, like the tech's interesting. I do think it's almost like a little bit of like, I guess maybe now not, but I still kind of think it is kind of like what Ripple is to Bitcoin, where Ripple is kind of like, you know, maybe people argue and say XRP isn't Ripple, but XRP is Ripple. But where like Ripple is like the centralized version of kind of Bitcoin, in my mind, in some cases, Ripple is kind of the centralized version of Bitcoin. Hashgraph is almost like maybe the more centralized version of Ethereum, like where you said they actually have the patent on the majority of the technology. So you can't fork the technology because they can actually sue you if you try to fork the technology. So they're trying to prevent that. And they're just trying to make it like more, I would say, like business corporate like. So I would say like like Ripple is to Bitcoin, kind of Hashgraph is to Ethereum. We don't know whether or not like that might succeed better because Ethereum is like decentralized. They have the Ethereum Foundation. So where it's more decentralized, Hashgraph is definitely a lot more centralized though.
That makes you wonder if, the philosophy of people like us on these channels with all of these, supporters and people that are, in it from the beginning, if this will actually matter, regardless of how centralized it is, if these enterprises and these businesses start adopting it anyway, what can you really do if that's what they choose to do? I mean, as far as I can understand ICOs keeping it private until they kind of roll things out. I get that. If you're in the process of development, you don't want to make it open source, then someone that has better resources is just gonna copy you right off the bat. But clearly, Hashgraph has a lot of resources to begin with. They don't have that problem. So yeah, like you said, this could end up being the Ripple of infrastructure. But look at where Ripple is today. So obviously, somebody somewhere thought it was a good idea to buy it. I mean, I don't own any Ripple, just saying. I'm not a Ripple guy, but I mean, obviously, you can't, it's number 3 for some reason. So,
well,
yeah.
I love Ripple, so. No, like, my question is about Hashgraph. Like, why, if it is the centralized version of Ethereum, why don't we just go to other hybrid chains or other more scalable decentralized models? Like, I know IOTA gets a lot of shit for being IOTA, but why don't we move towards those instead of introducing a Hashgraph type solution into play?
Well, Hashgraph is actually technology wise more like IOTA than it is Ethereum.
Yeah,
I think
it's like a tangled web. Yeah. And I knew that about it, but like why? And I know it, I guess it has its place because Ripple has its place supposedly, but that would be where I would lean. Like I would test every inch of an IOTA style or some other, blockchain 2, 3, whatever, how many .0, insert number here. Now we're on 5 now, 4, and we haven't even really fully built out 2. So I would go there before I'd go to just being a crypto hardcore guy, I guess.
Sure.
Sorry, I'm like super distracted over here.
No. I'm trying. I feel like Alex is just so quiet. You're so busy. He's out for, just so everybody out there knows, CryptoCandor is like the streaming master. She's streaming on 7 different platforms. She's having she's to people right now. So I mean, she's very busy. She's like
actually, I'm having stream problems. My stream is like not working and it's choppy and totally bad, so I'm trying to fix it on my end, but I don't think that's gonna.
She's the female Tai Lopez of crypto. That's what she is.
I just spent way too money on a desktop computer. I'm like the first person that's bought a desktop computer in like 25 years. So
I just bought an iMac like 6 months ago.
I'm on a desktop right now. That's why I was having my normie internet problems, because I was on a desktop. It's 2000.
So everybody freaked out over that Coinbase listing. Everything kind of jumped up, huh? Now the thing is, we know they're listing Ethereum Classic. That's going to happen. It's just a matter of what regions they're going to roll it out to first. It's already part of the custody wallet, etc. thing. What do you guys think? For consideration, what do you think is the ones that could be listed potentially, or out of those 5?
You want to take that first, Danny or Alex?
Yeah,
Alex, take it. You've been quiet.
So you said what would be the listed out of the Coinbase ones?
Yeah, like which one do you think would make the most sense to get listed?
I don't know. That's a really hard question to answer, because obviously my initial response, I want to say Cardano because I love the project, but I do still think that it's a bit overvalued and that they don't really have too much. I mean, they have a platform, but they are not giving what they're saying they want to give or what they plan on giving. And in the same light, I mean, to me, Stellar, I think, would make the most sense as far as fast payments if they're looking for a transaction coin. But yeah, I mean, what's the other one, like Zcash or something?
Yeah, Zcash, 0x, Cardano, Stellar, and
I don't know anything about 0x, and I just know that Zcash, when I did my quick review of privacy coins, that I wasn't a huge fan.
I wouldn't doubt if they add Zcash first, because it's on Gemini. I think that's like one of the only reasons. And they can also require transparent addresses, because Zcash is a privacy coin, but it's optional privacy. And I believe with Gemini, they require you to use transparent addresses. So you use it on the exchange, it's actually not private. And then I also think 0x might be another one too, just because Coinbase already acquired Paradex, and I think they're a lot of the there's a lot of familiarity with the Coinbase team and the 0x team. So I wouldn't doubt seeing 0x on or ZRX, the actual ZRX token on Coinbase as well, either pretty quickly.
Yeah, I read an article actually that was all rooting for Basic Attention Token, saying that that was the one that could start the next bull run, because if you could actually give back that power to content creators, and yeah, exactly what Alex is wearing on her shirt. But I don't. Do you guys use the Brave thing at all? So I do use it, and I signed up. And then it turns out that when you sign up for it, you have to go through a third-party company in order to get paid.
Yeah,
right. And well, number one, they're not available in New York, which is where I'm located. Number two, I can't access my funds whenever I want to. They get released periodically to me. Yeah. So I'm not even going to lie to you guys. When I saw Basic Attention pump 20%, I instantly hopped into my Brave browser wallet. I was like, I'm selling it all right now. Thanks, guys. And I couldn't access it.
They converted to USD too, which is annoying, because there was like a couple times where like I made like they have like the Brave browser as like a referral program, and I like promoted it, and I use the Brave browser too. But I remember thinking like I got the email. It's like, oh, you got paid however many Basic Attention token, and then Basic Attention did well for like a month, and I never went and uphold. Then I go and uphold afterwards, and I see like US dollar value. I'm like, what the hell? I didn't get any of that pump whatsoever.
Yeah, same thing happened to me. I actually went into Uphold the other day because I had done that video on it, and I was just curious to see if anybody had downloaded the program through me. And I was like, oh, okay, I know I had like, originally when I started, I had like $65 worth of BAT, but I knew that I had gotten others from people watching. So I go in and I'm like, wait, why is it all in US dollars? So I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. It's like a decentralized currency, but it's all like everything about it is like standard centralized processing. So it's like,
I thought that was the one that was like the shot out of a cannon for me. I mean, you could have probably reasonably predicted in some way, shape, or form either Stellar or Ripple. I'm glad it was Stellar, because everybody just gets to middle finger Ripple for a little while. But you could have predicted Cardano. You probably 0x already had its. They already talked about that a couple months ago. Zcash is on Gemini. You could have probably predicted that one. But Basic Attention was kind of the one that I didn't understand out of the five. I mean, does anybody else think am I way off, or?
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, just with like the browser itself, like it actually does function as intended. And I think the roadmap itself is pretty interesting. So like out of utility tokens, to me, it seems like one of the few actual tokens that has some utility and usage. The Uphold thing is kind of a mess, but outside of that, it's pretty legit.
Yeah, and it is. I don't know how many if there were any better projects that could have, been probably ahead of it in the line for the Coinbase listing, but they have their criteria, obviously, and that seemed to check as many boxes as they needed to have it in the running.
Yeah, there was a whole listing complication too, where they were saying basically if iTunes, if it doesn't pass their standards, then it's not going to pass Coinbase standards for something that you can list as far as being like a currency and stuff like that. So they have a whole checklist too for Apple. That's why we always get, you notice everything in crypto comes out on Android, and then we got to wait like 2-3 weeks for Apple, iOS all the time. So did you guys, real quick before we move on, did you see that whole conspiracy thing with the names of the tokens listed?
Yeah, it was
yeah, you saw that? Yeah, that was pretty funny. I mean, it's just a joke.
I didn't see it. Maybe I'm living under a rock here in Normie land, but what did I miss?
Well, they were just saying that the 5 coins that are listed, so if you take the first letter, so you have Stellar, Zcash, you have a.ka for Cardano, and then Basic Attention Token in 0x, it spells Zabo or Zabo for Nick Zabo, whatever.
Jesus Christ. Of course.
I got to give him A for creativity, though. I would have never. I'm not like one to pick up on stupid things like that. So I was like, oh, that's pretty coincidental.
Never figured that out.
So I've got a question, and this actually, we'll throw it around because I'm getting a bunch of people want me to answer it. So it says, what do you guys think about this idea? Crypto to crypto trading on DEXs, but if you want to trade it for fiat, then you go to the centralized license exchange and pay taxes for it.
But isn't that kind of what technically is going on now?
Yeah.
Sort of. But when you bring in GDAX, you can do crypto to crypto on GDAX. So I guess I know I felt obliged to ask it. But that's a topic, because we were talking about DEXs earlier. So I guess that's where it's a little bit like 10 minutes ago, but
I like the idea of decentralized exchanges. I mean, I don't, as far as like we basically do kind of have that, because Coinbase essentially is an exchange in a way, but they just deal with direct fiat unless you're going into Coinbase Pro or GDAX. So, I mean, I think we kind of already do have that. But as far as DEXs go, I like DEXs a lot. I use DEXs. I think that the issue comes with liquidity, though, honestly, and that's why there's these other things, you have like Loop Ring Protocol and stuff like that, trying to tie in all the liquidity of all these different places. But this is like your arena, Crypto Bobby. What is your take on the whole DEX thing and what we need?
Yeah. I mean, I work at AirSwap, so it's kind of in that category, and everybody's taking like all the. No, I'm not shilling anything. But I mean, everything like the whole decentralized exchange and like just decentralized trading, I think that's like something that's like really interesting, but like the industry isn't there yet. Like people still prefer to use Binance or Bittrex or wherever else. But as the products, as the platforms and the products continue to improve, and the liquidity gets there, and everybody's taking a different approach to liquidity. Some is kind of like user to user, some like AirSwap works directly with professional market makers. Then there's like Loopring. Then like 0x enables people to build relayers, things like that. But at a certain point in time, I think decentralized trading will get there, and then it's going to be, like you said, an issue of like with fiat trading. How do you get fiat into that, or will people maybe prefer? Is there going to be a stable coin? Is there going to be like a DAI or a true USD or something like that people can use with those? Decentralized exchanges that will make it a little bit easier for them too, so they don't have to go to centralized exchanges. But that's all getting like built out right now, and just like the volume on a lot of them, it's pretty low in comparison to what you see with centralized exchanges.
Yeah.
How often do you guys use in comparison ratio you centralized to decentralized? Just curious, personally.
Well, now that ever since my Gemini account got locked out and they like took my funds and I had to fight them to get them back, I really don't. Because I kind of just like move funds in and out of, existing trades. I haven't put a ton of new fiat in. I'd say that I probably use DEXs and Binance the most. I haven't really used a centralized kind of fiat to crypto gateway in a while. But my go-to normally is just Coinbase. I know it's expensive and it's a pain in the butt, but it is consistent. I can buy Bitcoin. I can get it off there quick. So as far as ease, that's definitely the easiest one for me.
Yeah, I'm a Binance
definitely.
guy. I was a Bittrex guy for the longest time, and their liquidity sucked balls when they started cutting off people from actually getting in a new registration. So it was like just swapping money from coin to coin, and there was nothing really going on. There was no new money coming in, so liquidity was terrible. And I just took everything out and went to Binance, and it was, obviously way better. But
I did the same thing. I was on Bittrex. When Bittrex was sketchy, and Poloniex or whatever was the one to be on, and I never used that one because I just didn't really like the way it looked. So I stayed on Bittrex, and I was like one of the last few people to move over to Binance, I feel like, because I was really loyal. And then, and now it's just easier, and there's so much liquidity, and they've got that fancy new feature where it takes all your little dust and it turns into BNB tokens. So after that, I was...
Well, word on the street, guys, is now the new thing is to charge for deposits, right? Because that's what HBTC is doing.
Apparently, I may or may not have been buying Tezos today, and it's not a big deposit, or it's not like a big. It's like 0.0006 Bitcoin. I don't know what the math is on that, but I saw that. I'm like, are you kidding me? You're charging me to deposit my money in here, not just withdraw?
Oh, that was I just tweeted back, what the fuck? Like, come on, that's crazy. That's very bad.
It's the first time I've ever used HitBTC. Thanks, Tezos.
I used it a long time ago because I was just screwing around with like BitClave or something, and that's where it was listed. So I just like popped on. I was like, let's try it. Put $30 in BitClave and roll. Who cares? That was my dumb move.
Tezos. I got to look more into Tezos. What's funny is I've had so much time to research it, but that's why I didn't, because I just kept pushing it off, because it was like that was the longest ICO. Not like as in the sense of EOS, but as in the sense of it finished and then, right? Like you thought WenChain was bad. I think this tops the cake. So, yeah. But we definitely have to see what those are. Oh man, I'm getting questions about EOS on this channel. I don't know. Every time I bring that up, we're just talking objectively here. There's things that are happening. People are talking about it, but I don't know. You guys, if you want to take that one over,
I don't know. The last time we had a stream, my opinion still stands. The ICO was exceptionally long. To me, it came off very arrogant. Everybody, from the team and the community thinks that the project walks on water. Don't get me wrong. I think that everybody has those groups that shill certain projects, sure. But I think if you're given a year and you're given the amount of money that they are given, that they should have been better prepared for the ongoing of the ICO and the way the project was handled. Kyle, you made a really good point last time we streamed. You said, okay, I get updates for my iPhone constantly. Obviously, technology is always evolving, improving, and changing. Sure. And most of us, I think, are pretty lenient and understanding about that. But like their blockchain froze and was doing all kinds of weird, like how does that happen after all that money and all that, tech and research done on the project? I don't know. I was disappointed, and I just think it's pretty sketchy.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well, somebody brought it up, so we were just talking about it.
But
let's change topics.
Dan Larimer in your back pocket. Why not? After a year and $4 billion, can you not create something that functions? I don't know. I don't know.
Exactly. To answer Aaron Lee, no, I don't own any Aphelion. Or I'm not in Aphelion. I've looked into it. I am interested in the comparisons between Aphelion and Nex and Switcheo, but I'll look into that a little more. So just personal on the side. So do you guys have any projects that you're looking at specifically? Any things you think maybe are a little undervalued, or, I mean, that's a very subjective, question, but is there anything you're personally looking at that maybe no one's really talking about, or no? It's kind of
I do, but
take that one first.
If I'm being frank, I really haven't. I've been so focused on doing content for the channel and communicating with people and getting ready to go on vacation in the last 2 weeks and making stuff ahead of time that I haven't had as much free time as I'd like to be doing research on stuff. I certainly feel like I'm missing out because there's always good projects that people are kind of missing the boat on. So I unfortunately have really nothing to offer.
Well, on a lighter note, today I actually found a project just by, and I'm not endorsing this or anything, but it's called Skynet. That's what they're choosing to name themselves, and apparently they're integrating Ledger Nano chips into IoT for payment. I don't know, some crazy concept, but that was just something I came across today. I haven't looked into it, but undervalued projects that I'm looking into. I mean, undervalued is not even a fair thing to throw around anymore in this space, because technically I think everything's overvalued. And people might even be like, what? It's like, well, I mean, you have 1,600 cryptos, let's say 1,400 of them don't do anything. And, the other 200, there's a lot of them are really struggling to still get that adoption, get to, what they're trying to really roll out. So, I mean, right now, I kind of was looking into a lot of the Wi-Fi connectivity type issues, which I know dApps just don't do well from investment standpoints. So, I was looking at NKN, and I recently did look into Mainframe as well. That was a project I'm kind of looking into. So, but, those are just things I've been looking into. Are they undervalued? I don't really know, but that's what I've been looking into stuff like that recently. So
I'm big on GoChain. That's no big secret. Without doing an entire live stream on GoChain. The team is really good. They've already got a working product. It seems every single day they announce they have a new ICO on their platform. They're 100 times faster than Ethereum, which 1,300 is not that fast in the grand scheme of what Credits wants to do, but it's still way faster. So it's greener. They have a new consensus algorithm. It's a better version, and it's fully backwards compatible. So if you have a Ethereum dApp, you just lift it without changing a line of code, put it onto a GoChain, and it's faster and takes a lot less energy to mine per se. So,
no, that's interesting. I honestly never heard of that project.
It was under the radar until Ian Bellina decided to shill it, and then everyone's like, GoChain, what the fuck? So, I mean, it's a good project despite the fact that he talked about it. But that's my shameless shill.
If I'll shill one, I got into Tezos recently. I didn't participate in the ICO, but I feel like kind of where it's at, where it sold off after it came out in the ICO, I think it's a $1.3 billion market cap in comparison to Ethereum Classic, in comparison to Neo, in comparison to EOS. I think there's a lot of room in comparison to Cardano. I think it's on that Cardano EOS level from a tech standpoint. and it's only traded on Gate.io and on ShipBTC. So I think like when it actually gets some liquidity on Binance or Bittrex or any of the Korean exchanges, it's going to do well. And it also had like a pretty fair ICO in terms of actually like anybody for the most part being able to access it. So I think there's like kind of a wider group of like, it wasn't just like, hey, we raised $200 million from 5 hedge funds. It was, hey, we raised $200 million from a bunch of people that now have either hate the project or are so deeply emotionally invested into the project that they're going to shill it till the end of time. So that's if I'm going to go on one, then I'm like kind of have a good amount of conviction in right now. I'll go with Tezos. That's my money bet in my pocket right now.
Yeah, nice.
I would be pretty deeply emotionally invested too if I had to say goodbye to my money for that long, not knowing what was going to happen. I'd definitely be the same way. So I didn't actually look at the metrics though, as far as the ICO for Tezos. Is it valued so high right now just due to the fact that the market has risen? Because even though we're down, I know if you still go back to about a year ago, I think we're still up, right? 1 year ago today, we were around like the 4,000 mark, I think. I could be totally wrong.
No,
but
you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because this was
maybe
this was pre the first like SegWit blow up last year. So
yeah, they raised last summer. I'm trying to see what the actual they raised at 40. They ICO'd at 47 cents. They're at $2 right now, so it's still 5x if you held from the ICO. That ain't bad, but you also could have probably done a lot better in the regular market if your funds weren't held hostage by the Tezos Foundation for a full year.
Well, they ran into legal issues, I think it was, with that. That's why.
Yeah, the Tezos, like they had like the developers, and then they had like a foundation that managed the like $200 million they raised, and there was a disagreement between the two, and then there was a whole legal battle and all that type of stuff. So that was kind of why it got held up for so long, or part of the reason at least.
Yeah, actually, it's funny because a lot of people ask me what I do. I actually do swing trading a lot, but I don't talk about it too much on my channel. And the reason that I don't talk about it is because here's the thing. If I talk about a project, like, okay, let's be real. There's a lot of shit coins out there, okay? And you can kind of like sense when there's going to be hype, when there's going to be a run up. And I do take advantage of these on the side. And then I take those and I put them back into like the gold standard, the blue chips, you know what I mean? But the problem is on my channel, the reason I don't talk about it is because inevitably somebody will buy in, but then selling, right? That's the problem. So if you hold for too long, then everybody's like, well, you told me this was going to go up. And most of my calls do generally go up, but you know, it depends. So that's why I've kind of refrained from making those immediate calls on the channel. Like I'll be on a few of the projects, like even Quark Chain, right? Like I was looking at Quark Chain the other day, and regardless of what people feel about it, I mean, it was just sitting at such an unbelievably low bottom that I was just like, screw it, you know, and I bought some in, and it's literally up 12% today, you know, and these are the calls I would like to give to people, but unfortunately, you know, if they don't sell, then it turns into that whole financial advice problem, and I'm the bad guy. So, you know, I don't know, but that's basically.
Yeah, no, people get greedy. I know, because you know, in the beginning when I started trading and buying stuff before I got into crypto YouTube, before I really even knew what was going on, I would find myself in those situations. I would buy something, get excited, it would go up, wouldn't sell it. For what reason, I don't exactly know. And then I would be like pissed at myself. But now, you know, it's progress, it's becoming evolved, and it's experience. And people are going to get upset because when they get emotional, they want someone to blame, unfortunately, and it's going to be you. So you know, do whatever you want to do content wise on your channel that makes you happy. But people have to understand that fundamentally we're not financial advisors, and we're all kind of in this together. So, you know, I mean, that's the way it works.
Yeah. I mean, for better or worse, like anybody that's watched any of my stuff, they always know, like I do give trades both on YouTube and Discord, wherever, but I always let people know, like, I am getting in this as well, and these are my profit targets, and this is my stop loss. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So I kind of took that leap of faith I don't know why I did it, because I seem to bear responsibility for stuff, but when things are going great, they're going great. But when they're not, and I don't trade a lot, people are like, what are you doing? Why are you not trading? I'm like, well, I can't trade all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think people have issues with that too. Just like generally speaking, like sometimes you just have to either, you know, pack your bags and chill and like wait for certain things, or like, you know, sometimes not making a move is the best move. And I think, you know, it's like a super ADD marketplace where it's like, you know, it's 24/7, shit goes crazy. But at the same point in time, like you don't always have to be in a trade, or you don't always have to be switching up your portfolio if it's like a medium to long-term thing, and people freak out about that. But it's tough. But sometimes just sitting on your hands is better than going nuts.
Yeah, that's a lesson I learned the hard way, for sure.
Yeah, I do respect you, Crypto Bobby, as well, because you do like live updates of your portfolio. You're very transparent with your subscribers and stuff like that. That's really awesome, man. I'm like afraid to show people, because then I don't know, I just like feel like then they'll just copy, and what if I'm making wrong decisions? I don't want to like have 30,000 subscribers also making the wrong.
Don't worry.
So yeah.
So Superman just popped in my chat to say hi to everyone. Apparently.
Wait. Like the actual.
It's the fake Superman, because
it's verified.
It's the real one?
It's a verified account.
What's up, Super?
And then
yo, cryptocurrency superhero.
I get super chats from like a fake Superman, a fake Ian Bellina, like fake accounts. I don't know who spends money on that.
Yeah, no, the only reason I know it's him is because his chat has a check mark next to it that says verified. So I guess it's actually him.
S Taj says Crypto Bobby just needs a burrito, and that's all he cares about.
That's true.
This is very true. So I got a question from somebody about opinions on Substratum. Does anybody have any opinions on Substratum?
I got the same question.
I got the same question too.
Wait a minute. Who was
something
it?
here?
Was it Aussie? Was it Aussie Crypto?
Yes, it was Aussie
and
Crypto.
Did they say hi, mate? Can you please ask the other panelists what they think about Substratum in all caps? Like that makes it just that much better.
Yes, very similar.
Look at that.
I mean, we could talk about it. I mean, geez, the guy went to that extreme to go on all three. I mean, that's some heavy grinding.
He yelled at me.
So I mean, I think my opinion of Substratum is pretty transparent. I did a video on them. I'll be honest. I went into the project and I was skeptical. I found the team at first kind of flighty, kind of difficult to get information out of. And then once I flat out told them that they were coming off kind of weird and I didn't really necessarily like it, they were like, all right, sorry, like, we didn't mean to do that. And they were much more transparent. And when I got to like the bottom of all the information I was going through and the research and seeing like that they do live streams weekly to update the people and the community and the project about what they're doing, I was definitely went in with a negative thought and came out with a positive one. So I like the project. The team's very friendly. I think that they're doing something good. And I think that there's definitely going to be a use for it. I'm more interested to see how they actually implement the project, because right now it's just like an on and off switch to use it. And I don't really know what it does. So I think they need to make the thing a little bit more user friendly, but I also think that that's their goal anyways. I know that that's something that they had mentioned. So it's cool. And it's necessary. It's needed, but yeah.
I feel like 2017 was the year of the white paper. 2018 is the year of the MVP. Hopefully by 2019, we'll have working products. That's all. Hopefully by 2019, I'll be able to use some of these damn things. So,
oh, shit, right?
Yeah. I mean, personally, like I said, I spoke about this before. I was looking into mainframe. I was looking into NKN. Substratum, they're dealing more, I believe, with the domain layer of that, but decentralizing all that. But I mean, honestly, I've been hesitant to bring it up because I know, but Elastos, guys, like, let's not forget the ability of Elastos. It also has the ability to tackle this as well, and a lot of these things that we've also seen coming forward with like ERC 721, ERC 1155, you had that come out of Engine Coin. Elastos is also looking to basically like help you secure your own digital rights in this while also building that infrastructure, the aircraft carrier DApp. So I've talked about it a lot on my channel. I feel like it is actually shilling at this point, so I'm just going to be respectful. But I believe in Elastos. I believe in Rong Chen, and I don't think a guy would be doing this for 15 plus years if he really didn't see the potential of it. So,
yeah. Good point.
There we go.
Touche. I got creeped out because Doug Polk made that video about Data Dash and Substratum with all like the creepy music in it. And I was like, oh my God. So immediately it was like, they're shilling it. They're, this is the next blah, blah, blah. But it's not. It's fine.
He's absolutely hilarious. I've been trying to get a hold of him and the dude from Crypto Daily because I'm just dying to talk to one of them.
Oh my God.
Crypto Daily is a real difficult dude to get a hold of. I've spoken with his like assistant, really, really cool dude.
Must be nice to have an assistant, huh?
Yeah.
Where the fuck's my assistant?
No, like he actually has a guy that goes to conferences and represents him. Like that's like, you've made it. I thought I made it when I had ETH giveaways underneath me, but you know that's next level. So
Yeah, that was.
he's a good.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, his
He's got
videos
a
are
system.
absolutely hilarious. I was watching something today earlier that he put out, and I just love the way he does stuff, and he breaks up the monotony of like the screens and whatever. Gives me hope that maybe I can one day be creative with my videos.
Yeah, his studio is ridiculous. I wonder how he got all that money for that studio. That's an expensive ass studio he's got. Everything is perfect. He showed it in one video. I don't know if y'all saw that video. He's like, "This is my new TV," and it's one of the $14,000 TVs. I'm like, "Holy shit!"
I mean, it's priorities, man. You know, it's priorities. You know, it's whatever you think. See, me, I'm more of like a hodl dude. Like, I don't buy anything. I'm like the cheapest. I'm not like a whale by any standards, but like I'm so cheap, it's ridiculous. Like the one thing that I don't mind paying for though is like traveling. I love to travel, so I'll hoard Bitcoin, I'll hoard my cryptos, and as soon as I get an opportunity to like, let's say, go to a conference or something. Unfortunately, I was thinking about going to the Korea one, but there's just no way I could pull it off. It was just too last minute for me, but it's supposed to be huge right now. Korea blockchain week, that's what I hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to go to Korea. That would be a ton of fun. Somebody just super chatted me and wants to know what we think of Electronium. I think we got this last time. I don't know anything about this project.
Mobile mining.
I hate Electronium.
I hate it so much.
hate it?
I hate
Why?
it so much. It's so dumb. How much
It's a
money
Monero.
can you make? Yeah.
It's a Monero fork with like old Monero code from like 2014,
Yeah.
and they just said, I mean, it pumped, and if you invested in it, you made money. Like you didn't lose money, but like thinking that simulating mining on your phone is somehow going to increase cryptocurrency adoption and going to be utilized by the entire world makes me want to jump out my window right now.
Yeah.
There was like a phase where there was a ton of Monero forks like out of nowhere. Because I got emailed from a bunch of them. They were like, "You want to cover us?" I'm like,
No.
Yeah.
"No."
There was like 4 of them back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Minari or Miseri or some shit like that.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
they froze the wallets last year too, which turned a bunch of people off. I don't know how long they froze them for, but they opened them up like the beginning of December, and it was. I think it ICO'd at like maybe 10 cents, and it was about at 10 cents, and it went all the way down to like 3 cents in 4 hours because people were so pissed. I'm not a fan.
Oh, I got another question. This is off topic. Favorite pizza topping?
Pizza topping.
Pineapple. No hesitation. Yeah. Luau style.
I'm blanking.
That froze everybody.
That's why.
That froze everybody.
Best pizza down there is Domino's. Come on, brother. I know that.
I said pineapple, and like a bunch of people threw up in their mouth, and then
I like tomato basil. That's probably my favorite.
I don't have an opinion. Is that like weird? I'm from New York. I like all types of pizza, so I just like any pizza. Just give me it. So yeah, I'm actually one of the least picky eaters basically ever. So yeah, I'll eat like anything. Doesn't matter.
Somebody says pineapple ? Kick him out now.
Hey, Hawaii.
That's it, dude. You're getting the boot. No.
Yeah.
All right, Cam, off. Bye.
All right. So now that we're talking about pizza, trying to think of some crypto questions right now. I know that everybody is just kind of the 10x pumping 75% in a day. I think it was even higher
more right now. It's up
What's the deal with that?
It's up 90% in the past 24 hours right now.
What's so funny, because everybody yesterday, I saw a bunch of tweets like, people are talking about all these coins that have debit cards. Where's our 10x cards? Like, they got so mad. And then now look at it. Now it's going crazy.
Yeah, I heard something. There was some, I don't know, briefly I heard somebody say some news, but I don't know what it is, and I'm not going to pretend like I know. I'll probably find out tomorrow when it's too late to get in. So
as far as I saw, there wasn't any specific news behind it, and like a ton of the volume was coming out of Korea. I think it was mostly on BitHum, and I saw a lot of people saying there's some like conspiracy theory about manipulation on BitHum and them trying to pump specific coins. I have no idea. It sounds very conspiracy theory crypto-ish, but yeah, I don't think it was news based. It just looked like it's just a massive volume spike and it went nuts.
Yeah, they got $56.1 million in daily volume from BitHum. It's five
Damn.
times what Bittrex was, because Bittrex and Upbit led the way for a long time on 10x. But I just pulled it up right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember last year they were doing that on BitHum? They were pumping like Ethereum Classic, then they would switch over to Litecoin, then I remember watching them do that, and I'm talking like 80% pumps in a day for no reason. And it is awkward if it was coordinated. I actually spoke to I don't know if you guys know Spunky over from South Korea, BitGosu. He has a Korean channel, and he was saying that they do kind of like hop on this, and when they see it going, they will all kind of like FOMO into it, because I guess BitHum doesn't really have a huge selection of coins. So when one does start to pump, it kind of like gets everyone's attention.
That makes sense.
So yeah, I mean, me personally, I've been burned way too many times getting into pumps, so I just don't do it. Like if a coin's pumping, I just accept the fact that I missed the boat and move on. I don't even touch it anymore. So
if a coin's pumping, my rule of thumb is take 5% and run for the hills. That's all I do. If I see it, as long as it hasn't already gone up a trillion%, I may take if I'm going to take a chance, I take like the smallest little scalp and then run. And if it goes up 100 more percent, who cares? I got my 5. I'm done.
Well, yeah, I mean, crypto's super volatile, and I think a lot of people could potentially make gains if they weren't so greedy, I guess.
Yes.
But I mean, that was my biggest pitfall in crypto isn't buying bad coins, it's holding too long. I mean, like all of the coins that I've made my worst decisions on, they were great. They pumped, but I just never sold. And then it came down and I was like, it'll go back up. And then it went below and I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It'll go back up. It's like everyone's famous last words.
Yeah, well, everybody knows, I mean, Icon for me was just ridiculous. I mean, I had Icon before $2, watched it go all the way to $12. I sold about 20% of my Icon at $10.50. And I held the other 80% all the way back down.
All the way down
I don't know.
250 or whatever.
All the way back down, yeah. But what are you going to do? I mean, if you believe in the project, you know what I mean? It doesn't bother me to watch a coin go down if I do know that there's fundamentals and that it has, they're doing, so. But I mean, then again, partnerships, white papers, what do they all mean anymore? What does it all mean?
Yeah.
Bobby, were you the one that tweeted a picture of a VeChain TA talking about support lines or whatever and how it was going to fall?
No, I don't know anything about TA.
Oh, okay. Because I saw somebody posted, lack of support levels, and then VeChain kind of ate it. And so I was curious if any of you guys had any idea what was going on with that, because I actually didn't do any research.
I got asked about it today because I said something about Dash yesterday, because the Dash setup was really nice yesterday. But I didn't really look too far into it. I couldn't really come up with a good answer as to why it. Because technical analysis only gets you so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you're going to be right sometime, you're going to be wrong sometime. Whether it's luck or whether it's skill, I don't really know. But
from a dude who does it a lot, like it only gets you to a certain point of the equation. There's a certain gray area that may or may not happen where you've got to. That's where the magic happens per se. But
well, Danny, you made a pretty good call the other day with that bottom, and you called it. I forget what it was. It was one of those days. I don't know. You do TA every day, so it all blends into it just blends into the same chart for me. But I remember one of those days you called it, and I was like, "Is that the thing with TA? Like you could be wrong 9 times, but if you're right that one time, he's a genius." Like, is that how TA works?
Well, it's flipped, because you could be right 7 times out of 9, but the 2 times you're wrong, you get castrated by 13,000 people. So. Yeah,
nobody's perfect, man. I feel like we're all in this together. I mean, we're all just guessing. Yeah. We're all throwing darts at a board.
It was probably Bitcoin, the one that you saw, because I was talking about. Without going too far, I drew a fib on Bitcoin and then pitchforked it, and it's playing out to the second now. As soon as I say that, 1,700 Koreans are going to dump all their Bitcoin, and it's going to go way down to 5,200, and I'm going to get yelled at by everybody. But this is not financial advice. Disclaimer.
I feel like you probably must take the most heat out of all of us. I feel like people who do TA and market evaluation get more flack from people than just normal people who do like reviews and research and news or whatever it might be on videos.
I get a lot of flack, but they know that I do the trades too. Like if I'm posting a trade, they know that I'm also doing it. So there's no point in getting mad at me, because I wouldn't post something if I'm going to try to lose money on it or something. Like they know that I'm invested in it as well. So I do get some flack, but comes with the territory. I took that calculated risk when I started doing TA or started posting TA. I've been doing it for a while, but
I can't do it, man. I'm just fundamental. I don't know how you do TA personally. Just to everyone on my channel, where's my crazy shirt? Literally everyone on the live stream asked me that too. I don't know, man. I'm boring today. I'm just wearing a t-shirt.
I got a super
let
chat.
everybody down, KDubb.
I got a super chat asking about Nano. He says top 40 coin down 92% from all-time high. What do you think about? What are your thoughts on Nano?
Bobby, did you just roll your eyes?
No.
Oh.
No.
So, yeah, somebody
maybe I did.
Somebody said that Bobby looks bored. Said you need a beer.
I'm not drinking beer. I'm drinking water because I'm trying to be halfway healthy today. So
okay.
I was almost healthy, and then not really. But
that's all right.
I don't know. My thoughts on Nano are I did the review. I like the project. I like the way it started. I still think it has a good use case for instant payments, but I myself have personally stated that I'm backing away from coins that are going to be currency replacements because I think the future is multifaceted projects, not just projects that serve one purpose. So although it's good at what it does, I don't really follow it much anymore news-wise, so I don't really know what's going on.
It's one of those things. I mean, if you guys looked at that kid from Venezuela and they were sending him the Nano and like he got like $600 and he was able to like buy enough food for his village and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not going to like rule it out and say that Nano doesn't, or Block Lattice or DAG or any of Shannon Consensus, even for example, with QLC. I'm not going to rule it out, but there is that issue of vulnerabilities and securities. But we do know that there's that constant trade-off, even the whole EOS thing, you have speed, security, and centralization. And there tends to be trade-offs depending on which aspects you really want. They want to be feeless. They want to be as fast as possible, instant, basically. So some people say that by having each person actually have their own chain, that creates a lot of potential vulnerabilities. But I mean, it's an argument that we have to see. It has to play out over time. It really hasn't been around long enough to really have in my opinion, a solid, final verdict. So
No, I agree with you. All this stuff needs more time, though. I mean, that's kind of like everything does. I think people forget how early all of this is. It's pretty remarkable. Everybody's like, oh, I missed the boat on XYZ coin. No, you didn't, because nothing's adopted and such a small percentage of people know about crypto and such a small amount of real money is actually in crypto. So we're all thinking about it 24/7. Meanwhile, there's millions of people all over the world that have no idea this shit exists. So
speaking of adoption, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, we get like inundated in our little bubble of we live it, eat it, and breathe it, and then there's so many people that have no idea what it is.
Yep.
So it's in early pre-pubescent stage.
Definitely. I was just going to say real quick we were talking about adoption. So Finny, the phone coming out from Siren Labs, they just released that they're actually coming out with their official phones in November, and they're going to be $1,000 a phone, right? But then in the same article, I found out that HTC is also looking to release a blockchain phone, and they might be coming out with theirs sooner. So what do you guys think? What is your opinion on, what happens if these bigger players, these like conglomerates, the Apples, the Googles, the Microsofts, what if they basically look at these ideas and they take them and then they use them as their own and then they come out with their products first? What is that going to do for all these different projects?
I don't know. Good luck beating these guys. That's good luck beating Apple. Like blockchain's
fuckers.
Cute, but like talking about, I don't know how valuable is Apple? Like $500-700 billion.
It's closing in.
It's more than the market cap of crypto. I know that. So.
Yeah, if Apple decides to pick up blockchain tech and run with it, I mean, it's going to be great because it's going to get it mainstream. But all the projects of doing anything remotely close to anything Apple puts their eyes on is SOL.
Yeah, I think if any mobile provider goes to blockchain, it's going to be Apple. Because like I was listening to a guy that speaks at like Microsoft and Apple and all these big companies. And he said the difference in Apple and Microsoft, the entire board meeting for Microsoft was how do we beat Apple? The entire board meeting for Apple was how do we get more people to read and connect more people to technology? And so those two things, if they're really smart, they'll take blockchain and run with it at some point, and then who knows?
What's the benefit with Siren Labs? Like what's the benefit of like blockchain on a phone? I haven't looked into it enough, but like
you can mine on it, Bobby.
You can mine electronium.
Yeah, you can mine electronium.
No, I mean, as far as I knew, they basically were they have a phone that, from what I was aware of, it essentially is, so like imagine, you have your phone right here, and split the phone directly down the middle, and there's actually two phones in one phone. So one phone is completely encrypted, the other phone is standard, and there's actually a physical toggle switch that you could switch between fully encrypted and not fully encrypted. When you're fully encrypted, obviously you're limited in what you can do, but it's secure. You can have it's basically like a hard wallet in your hands that, you know what I'm saying? So the only way for anybody to essentially get your funds would be to somehow be able to rob your phone from you, switch it over, and then know how to get into your hardware wallet itself. So I think that's some of the key features. I may be missing some of them, but like Bobby said, what happens when Apple does it? And I don't know. Then it's tough because they got all the resources, man. They got everything they need to make it work. So
sounds like you could just kind of take a ledger and like tape it to the back of your phone, and then that would be
I think that's what Skynet's doing. I think that's what they're doing.
They need to come out with a customized phone case for that toggle switch too, because none of the phone case companies are going to make a phone case just for that. And people are going to drop. What if you break your phone? Yeah. What if you break it? You send it back.
So the question. So what's the difference between having, like, say that wallet I reviewed, which is the Cool Wallet, which is a wallet like looks like a credit card you keep in your wallet. You can access your crypto wallet from your phone and simultaneously, on an app. What would? I mean, that seems.
Enter crypto phone.
Yeah.
Wait. Somebody on my side, I don't know, Weiss lies, 10% off if paid with Syrian token. Does that mean you get 10% off the phone if you pay in Syrian token? Or I don't know what that means.
Oh man, then it's only $900. Cool.
Totally.
Such a steal.
Yeah.
What utility? That's great token economics.
Yeah, no, absolutely. For the guy that asked the question on the channel, John, we're not at all in any way, slandering or anything like that. It's just a question you have to ask yourself is when you do have these big, powerful enterprises that have the ability to pretty much do whatever they want,
I'm slandering everything.
I was just saying, me too.
So somebody actually just made a pretty good comment in my chat. They said Apple and Google aren't incentivized to go against their Google Pay systems that they have in place. They want data, and adding crypto wallets goes against their interests. They have put a lot of money into having Apple Pay in things and easily accessible. I can't imagine they can just make that into a blockchain-based platform.
That's true, but there's got to be a way to add a blockchain feature into Apple Pay. I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, honestly, you'd have to roll out everything that has Apple Pay. Would have to get new hardware because you can't just like have a software patch and magically you have blockchain integration. But maybe that's where Nano comes in. Dun dun dun.
The tables have turned.
Just kidding. I own 0 Nano, so that doesn't benefit me at all. If any.
I have a very little bit from my original purchase into it, but honestly, I bought it so high now, and it's so low that it's just not even. I'm just going to hang on to it for eternity, probably.
Story of 97%.
So Weiss actually responded, and he said 10% off if paid with Syrian token. Finney's looking to distribute their OS to other companies as well, so it could be adopted by Apple or anyone. There's no toggle on the new Finney. Oh, it's the sliding switch. Okay, so there's a few clarifications on that.
Toggle slider.
Somebody actually spoke to me recently about this, and they were saying, are these companies actually incentivized to use blockchain? Not like within their own system, but to adopt these other things. Because the truth is a lot of these guys actually benefit from being centralized. Like, it's better for them, So if you have this, like Amazon, if you have this ultimate centralized power, you're like the biggest online grocery shopping store of the world, and it's all through your centralized servers. You have AWS and all these other things. Why are you going to like change something that's working perfectly fine just to be more decentralized, transparent? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's their incentive when they're doing just fine?
I don't think there is. I don't think there's any. Like, I know that's like the big rumor all the time, and like James Altucher does, like, oh my God, Amazon's gonna do whatever with crypto and blockchain. Like, I mean, I think a lot of these like companies are like exploring blockchain technology and things like that. But when it comes down to it, like, what would Amazon do? Like, so Amazon, I think, has blockchain tech within AWS. And they are a huge provider to, like, there are so many crypto projects that literally run their entire business that are decentralized crypto projects that run their entire business on AWS. and that's a huge centralized point of failure. But like for Amazon, like what would be maybe the big benefit to us would be if Amazon accepted cryptocurrency. But I like, you know, they're not. I don't think blockchain technology is in a place where like Amazon crashed today during Prime Day on their own servers, which are like probably the most scalable servers in the entire world. If you think blockchain can handle a thousandth of that, like you're crazy.
Exactly.
We can't handle CryptoKitties. We're not ready for Prime Day.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys watched Richard Hart. He had a little bit of a rant about that as well, where he was arguing that blockchain technology, as soon as you take it out of the digital world, it's useless. He was like, all it's basically good for is, you know, keeping track of a ledger that's public, that everyone can see. Mm-hmm. And outside of that, we just run into massive problems. So, you know, I think it has its applications. I think it has its use cases. It's going to be a very, very long time, if ever, if we see it totally replace things. Although I do see it kind of sneaking its way in as a substitute for certain aspects of business. You know, for example, say you're a small business owner, you know, accounting, for example, right? I mean, blockchain would be great for accounting. It would be great for even supply chain logistics.
Yeah, voting. Supply chain is, if we get to that point, that's probably the sector I'm the most bullish on. Yeah. Just because, A, that's my background. B, I think it makes the most sense. So
things like Walton and VeChain, Morpheus,
and
things like that.
People are doing it now. Like everything is in development now. It's being utilized, and it's just easy. It just, like you said, it just makes sense. It just works, which is really the key. You know, I always say people have to be using crypto without knowing they're using it. So scanning, you know, RFID chips or NFC chips or whatever, and just utilizing stuff as an employee or as a person or whatever, not really knowing, is huge. That's massive.
Yeah, people underestimate how much money is wasted in supply chain every single year, from whether it's just simple waste, whether it's theft, whether it's counterfeit. I mean, whatever it is, people really underestimate that. So that's why I like Walton. That's one of the reasons I like Walton so much, and VeChain and other projects kind of like that. Ambrosis. Some other ones.
Origin Trail. There's a whole bunch. Yeah, a whole bunch
Origin Trail's a good
I can't
one.
take Origin Trail seriously because I think of Oregon Trail and how I died from like
too.
Whatever
dysentery every time.
Yeah, so that's very millennial of me, but whatever.
Yes.
Definitely, guys. Any questions on Bobby's end, or do you?
I got one, Bobby. I love you, bro, but why is that you never mentioned Digibyte?
Oh no. It happened.
You guys want to talk about Digibyte, don't you?
It happened.
I know you guys want to talk about DGB.
Actually, here's the funny thing. I've had so many people ask me about Digibyte that I've decided to appease everybody and have a completely objective standpoint on this. I've actually, well, I haven't done it, but I'm going to reach out to the ambassador of Digibyte. He's on Twitter all the time. Somebody told me I should talk to this guy. If he's watching, just hit me up again. We're going to do a live stream and we are going to talk Digibyte. I want to get to the bottom of this right now. So let's do it.
Better than me.
Yeah, I will
let's
watch
do it.
That.
Let's do
fun.
it.
Yeah, we'll watch it. You'll definitely have me making side comments in your stream chat.
Yeah, well, what do you know? I don't know. It gets a little.
No, it's good. I mean,
there
must be something to it if everybody's harassing us about it, and you're going to placate everybody. So have at it. Good for you. That's smart.
I mean, they've been having a really good run lately. So whatever's been going on, I mean, I know it's not an old project. It has been around for, I think it's like 4 years or something like that. So, I mean, I'll have a look at it. So there's so many coins, man. I mean, and you know what it is? You get that tribalism. And it's, you know, as soon as you get that tribe, it's like no matter what you say, it'll just, and I'm guilty of it. I remember when that guy, Eric Wall, made that comment about Neo being too centralized. And I came out with a 25-minute video. You don't know what you're talking about. It was actually one of my most popular videos ever. Also got the most dislikes. But that being said, yeah, you know, tribalism is a thing. And sometimes we do get really, really obsessed with these projects. But I think lately I've tried to take more of an objective standpoint and look at them through a third party. You know, take a step back, stop just like being infatuated with the project and be more realistic about it. And I think if we can start having that approach and realizing that it's not your tribe, your coin versus this coin, you know, I want to see these guys work together. I want to see these guys that are going head and head. I want to see the developers get together and brainstorm. Now that would be interesting, but we'll see.
I got a comment regarding your Digibyte live stream. It says, bold move. Let's see how it plays out for him, Cotton. So if anybody tell me somebody got that reference.
Cotton?
No.
Is that
oh my God. Watch. Okay. Everybody on this live stream and watching it, stop and go watch Dodgeball and then rewatch this.
Okay. I think
That
I know.
was like Jason Bateman's big day. Never
I don't
mind.
like
God.
slapstick humor.
Bullet strategy.
Yeah, bold strategy, Cotton. All right, my pop culture references are done for today.
You got lost on me. I'm so bad with pop culture.
Yeah, I'm done with that.
You can dodge your inch, you can dodge a ball.
You could dodge this bear market. You could dodge anything, right?
Yeah,
It's
that's
freaking
true.
I love how I started my channel at the peak of crypto. I started my channel January 1st, and it's literally been going down ever since.
Now
So like,
we know whose fault it is. Thanks.
yeah, it's my fault, guys. To everyone out there that's watching, though, you guys are freaking amazing. Everyone on the live stream right now, when this thing turns around, I love the fact that you're all here right now. It's gonna be awesome. So there's obviously a reason we're here, right? I mean, we have to be here for a reason. We see value in this. So
yeah. Or we're just all absolutely nuts, which is also a very good possibility.
we could be completely crazy, and you guys should just definitely run as far as you can from the four of us. This is insane.
Crazy.
Don't ever watch another.
Cold-hearted bastard. That's me. That's what.
Yep.
Oh my God! Somebody said, "Do you mean Doge Ball?"
Well,
Dogecoin's pumping right now, actually. What are we at?
somebody
Somebody
super chatted me $1.99 and said it's because Doge is pumping. I'm rich now.
22%. Dogecoin got me to crypto. Thank you, Dogecoin.
I bought Dogecoin when I first got into crypto. I didn't know much about market caps or how anything really worked at all. And I just looked at Doge and I looked at how cheap it was, and I was like, do you realize if this goes to $1, I'm a millionaire? Like, not realizing how market cap works whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So a lot of bad trades. What's some of your worst trades? Let's talk about that. What do you think is some of the worst purchases you guys have ever made? I'm down to say mine. I mean,
I've had a few bad ICOs. I've had a couple different ICOs I've got in that have just not gotten listed and are just like completely illiquid. Can't dump my position even if I want to.
Yes.
So those haven't been fun.
Same here.
They didn't even get listed?
No. Now, like US-based ICOs that looked like legit projects and are legit projects, but just can't get listed. So that was fun.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think one of the, not the one that I lost the most money on, but the one I lost the most percent-wise just based on the way the coin moved, honestly, was probably in the beginning was Ripple. I got burned, not money-wise, but just like serious percent loss-wise, hard on Ripple, which is probably part of the reason why I hate the coin, but also, whatever. But yeah, so that was one of my not so great ones. And then as far as ICOs go, Kin, which I still think may end up doing something since they have a legitimate project and platform. But I mean, I think it's like still sitting at ICO price, to be honest.
Yeah. I haven't lost a lot of money on one trade, and I've lost a lot of money on a lot of trades combined. Just because I use stop losses so much, and I do trade. I've lost the most money on Icon. Holy moly! God, I know. I just lose chunks every time. I'm like, oh, this looks like a good setup. Death. This looks good. Death. Like, I just keep losing 10% every time I trade. I actually
the opposite side of that.
Yeah, I just need to. I need to start shorting.
Start shorting when you think you need to long.
Well, yeah, as soon as I short Icon, it's like everything goes great, and oh God, yeah.
So you got to take one for the team, Danny. You got to short Icon right now.
Right.
You got to take one for the team. I got a lot of people are riding on this trade. Okay. I'll tell you what, man. When it goes up, I'll give you a percentage of mine. How's that?
Oh,
you got to do it for
thanks.
the rest of us.
Thanks.
Take one for the team.
Yeah, I got to take. Oh God, maybe. But yeah, that's by far the coin I've lost the most money on is Icon for sure.
Man, so big topic of the week. I feel like we should say this at least before we go, because I feel like it is getting a little bit late out here, and I know that everyone has things to do. But as far as this whole like ETF, I know Bobby seems to think it's going to get denied for the billionth time. What do you guys think? I mean, a lot of people got super pumped over the BlackRock thing, but then I kind of heard that it wasn't really as serious. They were sort of just looking.
No,
looking turned into
complete media. Yeah. Media being the media.
I don't really care about the BlackRock thing at all. I saw it and I was like, it's media.
It was actually. I'm gonna pull up a tweet, and it's actually Nick. What's his name? PizPie wrote this. It was like perfect. He nailed it. What the fuck is that? Let me see. So he's like, He basically said, so it's at MBTC, Pizpie, Pizpie. I don't know if you guys follow him, but good dude. And he's like, this is why it's hard to take the media stream seriously, or mainstream media seriously. First article, BlackRock has a working group for crypto. Next article, BlackRock has received no interest from clients regarding crypto. The next article, Bitcoin rallies as BlackRock confirms interest in crypto. Desperate. And that's literally what it was. It was like, BlackRock's going on in crypto, and then it's like actually the BlackRock CEO said there's zero interest, and then they're just attributing it to a 5% gain.
Oh my God, that's crazy. And that was totally in my news of the morning. So I guess I'll have to, we'll follow that up tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern time, guys. They are no longer interested.
Yeah.
So
I am in the camp of
change.
I think the ETF, if it doesn't get accepted, it'll get damn close. And the only reason is they've had a while to tweak what they need to tweak, and they're trying to work with the SEC, and it's the CBOE asking. And I know they've asked before, they've got denied before, but I think we're a lot closer to having a Bitcoin ETF than we were, a year ago, or even 6 months ago. We're way closer. So I think this one's going to happen, and maybe that's my natural bullish bias. And if it does happen, I don't want to make any kind of earnings claims, but it'll be nuts. If it happens, it'll be like a repeat of last fall. But I don't know what will happen to the altcoin market, because I don't know if it'll tether that way, because there's going to be so much money flooding into just Bitcoin. It won't be like Bitcoin and then dispersing. It'll be like without explaining ETFs. If you want to look at ETF, go to Mark Moss's Twitter. He at least explained it relatively well. I know, Bobby, you replied to him about how you didn't think it was going to get accepted. And Mark, I don't know if he replied or not, but his explanation of the ETF was at least relatively valid on like what it is. So just my 2 cents.
I think we're like you said, I think we're definitely in a better position than ever before as far as an actual chance at an approval. I still don't necessarily think it's going to happen. But yeah, like in the past, it was literally just like, oh, is there going to be insurance? And the old the old application was like insurance now. Yeah. Like now there's like actual plans for insurance and some different kind of pieces in place to mitigate actual retail investors as well. Because I think the minimum buy-in or like the minimum share price is supposed to be like $150K off the top or something, something like to prohibit actual retail investors from getting in and speculating with like your TD Ameritrade account or whatever it might be. But I'm still skeptical on whether it'll be approved. I'd love to see it happen though, because like you said, I think the market will react overwhelmingly positively if it does.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, it would be awesome. Obviously, there's not going to be a downside to that, and I don't know enough about it to really understand like the financial aspects, like the risks and what the reward would be and why they would or wouldn't approve it. So all I know is it would be good. And last year there was a lot of hype around when like the Winklevoss guys were attempting that. Yeah. The Winklevi.
Yeah. No, the ETFs will. I think it'll get accepted, but if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. But actually, it might be, because there's so much hype around it. If it doesn't get accepted,
I think there was more hype around the last one, to be honest with you. I feel like when the Winklevoss were looking into it, it was on every website, on every news source. Everybody was talking. It didn't stop. This, at least, like I know it's kind of happening, but I don't have a ton of knowledge on it, which to me means that there's less information floating around. Just because of that. Because the first one I didn't really do a lot of research on, but I knew a lot about just because I heard it through the grapevine. This one just doesn't seem to be it's hyped, but it's not like the way it was the first time, I don't think.
We still have like a month before it happens, or like I think it's August 10th is when like the date is supposed to be, or there's supposed to be something. So
you can't.
We're talking about it now. It might build up a little bit more.
Like you can't actually. That's one thing that somebody commented on one of my YouTube videos, and they were very colorful in the language they used, but they were talking about, as usual, keyboard warriors united on me. They said that, you can't, the SEC didn't actually say when they were going to decide on it. Like, I couldn't find anything on their website. I read most of the release about the ETF and the amendments or the addendums to it. They didn't say anything about August 10th. So I don't know where August 10th actually came from. Does anybody know? Because I couldn't find it. It just says we're considering the Bitcoin ETF via the CBOE, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I couldn't find August 10th on there. Maybe I'm crazy, but
there was a thing that I read. It was a lawyer that was commenting on Reddit. He was a securities lawyer, and he was saying something about how it may not actually be on the 10th because it has something to do with a certain day that things are started. They get 45 days.
Yeah, I knew this 45 days was like a
yeah. I don't remember where I read it. I can't even think off the top of my head, but I think they said that it could potentially be after the 10th. It could be like the 16th. He said even, or I don't know. So it's not set in stone, basically. So.
Yeah, I think people have a bad taste in their mouth for institutional investing because what people thought or perceived the futures contracts did to Bitcoin. I mean, they're totally different animals, obviously. Like futures contracts are not actually investing in Bitcoin, and ETFs are. So they're very different. But the just institutional money, I think, is people get scared. Again, because people have been commenting in the Discord, all my kind of stuff, like, "Oh, ETFs are going to do the same thing. That it's just more manipulation." I'm like, no, it's different. It's not the same. But
I think a lot of the big money, man. I think it's been creeping its way in OTC anyway. I think the big money coming in isn't even making headlines personally. I think a lot of the stuff that we're talking about really, like in the grand scheme of these guys making money, doesn't really matter. It's just like fun stuff to talk about and pump up price and speculate. But as far as like the big guys buying, I think that they know when they want to buy in, they know when they're buying in, and when they do, they're doing it over the counter. So that's just what I think. I don't think we're seeing it personally being reflected in the charts, in the price. So
very true.
Yeah, so we should end on something positive though, I feel like, before we get out of here. Let's talk about I don't know. It's been a good week. I mean, hey, let's take the gains when we get it. Let's
it's Monday.
Let's enjoy it while it's here.
It's been a good week.
Yeah, it's been
is it only Monday? Oh my god, this is the longest Monday ever.
Yeah, no, I know. I feel the same way too.
Absolutely. So I don't know, guys. I might take off. Are you guys feeling pretty good? Is everybody?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna not this week, but maybe next week. I'm doing another live stream because I have some library tokens and some library swag to give away because I'm doing a review for them. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much the good news on my end that I have coming up. I'm going on vacation next week, so that's cool.
I'm going on vacation on Wednesday, so I've got one more day of 1.5 days per se of.
But who's counting?
Working hard, but yeah, who's counting? Who's counting down? Not me. Not me.
Oh god, I got to figure out the stream situation. But anyways, thank you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah,
thanks for the time, guys.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for having me on.
No problem.
Yeah,
we like shooting the shit. That's what we like.
Thank you to everybody. I appreciate it. And obviously Danny, Alex, Alex is like literally, she lives in my channel in like a little corner. She's always around. I
just come out once in a while. I'm like, hey guys.
We're always doing a live stream. Danny, awesome, man. Thanks again. And Bobby, appreciate it, man. First time I really ever had a chance to chit chat with you, and you're super cool. You're super awesome. Always welcome on my channel, and I really appreciate it, dude.
Appreciate you having me on. Thanks a lot, guys.
Absolutely. So until next time, guys, from my end, stay crypto and peace out, guys.
I say stay frosty, but either one.